Welcome back, faithful friends. I trust you are well. How are you liking the story so far? Does the idea of being sucked into another dimension intrigue you? Well, let's find out how Diana is doing. So far, she's found out that her tether connects her to the physical world and that she's in a coma. So now it's up to Wils and Prudence to figure a way to send Diana back home. Let's get back to it, shall we? My second day in the shadow world was pretty much like the first one, and so were the following days. On the days when both Prudence and Wils were able, they allowed me to go out to the beach. I asked questions about the towns. They told me that they held a variety of people. Those that were from the same timeline formed communities. Professional people shared their skills, and their work was to help Lord Zoo get back to the physical world. Shadow World was an eternal gray. The sand was not grainy, but smooth. The sky was cloudless and gray. There were no birds or insects. There were no waves in the water. It stayed flat. Prudence and I slept in the same bed, and we found that since my real body was home in the physical world, I couldn't do a lot of the normal things I took for granted. For example, I wanted to sleep comfortably in my undies, but right after I took my clothes off, they magically came back on, coat and all. Going to the bathroom was really a figment of my imagination. Eating too, but I did it nonetheless. Since finding out that I was in both worlds, I had been trying to figure a way to let my family know that I was okay. Every morning after Prudence left for her job in the kitchen, I would sit quietly and try to concentrate on waking up in the physical world. After a few days of doing that and not getting results, I started to feel depressed. I mean, why was I trying to get back home when I was already there, right? I was in a coma, which means that the funnel hurt me somehow, and that's how I fell into the coma. Then I thought, why try anything here if the doctors were already taking care of me? Coma wasn't the end of the world. It just means that I needed to rest. Once I was rested, I would wake up. The other thing I reasoned was that the shadow world was really a coma-induced reality. It didn't really exist. Wils and Prudence were part of that dream fueled by my imagination in history classes. We'd recently covered the Civil War, and before that, we briefly touched on the Salem witch inquisitions. With those things fresh in my mind, it was no wonder that I constructed this reality. Except I couldn't completely dismiss that it might be real. Who was I? And what did I know about what people in comas experienced? I didn't know how the dead frog fit into the whole picture, and Wil's explanation did kind of make sense. Lord Zoo recruits dead or recently dead, and the frog was dead at the time, and since I was holding it, I got sucked in along with it. Makes sense, right? And yet, I was worried. I was worried that I was really in another dimension or whatever this world was, and that for me to wake up, I had to do something here in the shadow world. What it was, I hadn't a clue. A few days later, Prudence returned from the kitchen all excited, and she barely took off her shawl before telling me that she had news for me. Lord Zoo came to the kitchen today. He is having a banquet and wants everyone to attend. Isn't that great? She gushed. Whoopee, so what? I can't go, I told her morosely. I questioned her about the kitchens. She explained that Lord Zoo offered a communal kitchen that provided food for everyone and a private kitchen for him and his fellow wizards. That's not why I'm excited. Lord Zoo usually insists that everyone attend. It means lots of great food, drinking, and dancing. It also means that his laboratory will be unattended. Wils could probably sneak up there to see about sending you back, she finished. So when is this banquet, I asked, still not feeling excited. A few days from now. It gives us enough time to figure out how to send you back. Wils know how to use the controls on the machines. We reckon it is just a matter of trying to reverse the process, she explained. Do you really think we'll succeed? I mean, it's not that I don't trust Wils or anything. I just hope that he can return me to my correct time and stuff. Don't worry, Wils knows what he's doing. I could have sworn that I heard her mumble, I hope, but I couldn't be sure. The door opened suddenly and Wils walked in. He was sporting a smile too. It's been 2 weeks since I've been here, and his smile no longer made my heart jump. He was just a 166-year-old ghost boy. In passing, I learned that he was 16 when he joined the militia. He did it to get away from the plantation owned by his father. The minute he mentioned plantation, I stopped thinking he was cute. After all, his family might have owned relatives of mine. It didn't matter that he thought slavery was bad. His death didn't change the fact that he lived in a time where it was the norm for one person to own another. "Hello, Diana. Did Prudence tell you the good news?" he asked as soon as he sat down at the table. "Yeah, she did. Do you really think you can send me back?" "I think I can. I've never given them any reason to suspect me, so they ignore me and talk about everything around me. Since I go on the raids with them and help them operate the machines, I've learned the process. A few times they experimented with sending a recruit back and it worked. The only thing I worry about is that I'm not sure if you need to hold that frog to go back." "Where's the frog?" I asked, suddenly interested. "Lord Zoo has it locked up in his private chamber." He was fascinated by it. I overheard him and his wizard cohorts talking about how it was so well preserved and that he wanted to study it further. "Can you get into his chamber the night of the banquet?" I asked. Wils looked smug. "I have my ways." "I guess that's the plan then. How are you guys getting me there? I mean, you said that I couldn't hide my tether, so how are you getting me into his lab without being seen?" "I have a plan. I'm going to use a spell. Everyone who sees you will not see the real you," Prudence said mysteriously. "You're not going to turn me into something else, are you?" I asked fearfully. "No, it's called glamour. They'll see you, but not the real you. It will hide your tether." "Okay, if you say so." Prudence nodded and then proceeded to lay our dinner on the table. She brought a huge basket of food. The three of us sat to eat. Wils and Prudence refused to talk further about their plans and insisted I tell them about life in the 21st century. I regaled them with the wonders of the cell phone, showing them my dead one, and explained what it can do. I told them about computers, modern science, and how big the new world had gotten. In return, they told me about the lives they led before dying. I tried to feel impassive when Wils told me about plantation life. His parents were disappointed in him for not wanting to start his own concern. That's why he went and joined the militia. He explained that the war between the North and South was about slavery, and he was all for the South to lose. Prudence's life was full of adventure also. She and her family lived outside on the outskirts of town because they were secretive about their powers. Her mother was a witch also, although the townsfolk didn't call her one outright. She was a sought-after midwife and healer. Her father took off once he realized that his wife and daughter did weird things. He caught them doing rituals in the woods with a few other women and left. Tituba was her mother's name, and she was a half-breed mix of native Indian and European. She was a patient teacher who taught her how to perform spells. Her mother's strength was in herbal magic. Prudence was just figuring out where her talent lay when the witch trials began. The townsfolk didn't point fingers at her mother right away, but when pressure was put on those girls to name who was torturing them, her mother was dragged into a cell. The town sheriff wasn't too happy putting her in a cell because Tituba had healed his wife of fevers and such. He even allowed Prudence to bring her supper most evenings. However, when the good Reverend Harris caught her coming out of the jailhouse, she ran. They came for her the following day. The trials didn't take long, and the idiotic things they did to prove the women were witches proved nothing at all. Tituba begged for her daughter's life, but Prudence didn't want her mother to die alone. Besides, she knew it was a matter of time before they came back for her again. They shared a cell with women of their coven. Together, they performed their last and most useful spell. While the impostors died horribly in pain and suffering, she and the true witches went painlessly and in peace. "Still, that was a horrible way to die," I commented after she finished. "It was, but my death wasn't all in vain. I have purpose. I'm here now and my powers are growing stronger. I remember all the spells taught to me by my mother and the others of our coven," Prudence stated matter-of-factly. "Does Lord Zoo know that you're a witch?" I asked, worried for her safety. "He does, but he is also from a time where women were treated as second-class citizens. Much worse than my time. He feels that only men have true magic. He and his alchemists were wizard from that time. You mentioned that he might have been banished from his time to the shadow world. What did he do?" Wils cleared his throat. "Lord Zoo and his cohorts have been banished from their time by Merlin of King Arthur's court. King Arthur surrounded himself with supposedly wise men, and he was keenly interested in magic. Merlin was his right-hand man when it came to making decisions about the kingdom. Lord Zoo was Merlin's assistant. I overheard him talking to his men about how he was going to get his revenge and kill Merlin. Merlin only existed in fantasy stories, and even if they weren't, Merlin and King Arthur have been dead for a long time, I interjected. You're wrong. Merlin did exist, and Lord Zoo was his arch nemesis. They fought over who would help the king conquer the rest of the civilized world. Only thing was, Merlin was truly on the king's side, whilst Lord Zoo wanted the throne for himself. So what happened? How did he end up here? I don't know all the story, but Merlin supposedly found out what Lord Zoo was planning and outed him to the king. Arthur insisted on having them duel it out, but Merlin would have none of it. Merlin asked for time to prepare, and when they met next, Merlin performed a spell that sent Lord Zoo here. What did Lord Zoo do? Did he plan a coup? I asked. Lord Zoo planned to poison the king. Merlin neutralized the poison, and then he banished him. I turned to Prudence. What kind of glamour are you planning on using on me? I asked. She smiled. There are only a few people Lord Zoo trusts. Wils happens to be one of them. The others are his partners. I am going to make you look like one of them. That way, when Wils goes to Lord Zoo's chambers, no one will question why he's there with him, she explained. That's a great plan, but how is that going to work when I don't know any of them? If you make me look like one of them, don't you think I should at least know how to act like them? Not really. All you must do is walk into the chamber. I'll have the key to enter, and we'll both walk into the room together. Once we're in there, we can search for the frog and then go on to the lab. Then I'll get you into position, throw the switch, and send you back, said Wils. And you figure that it'll work? I asked incredulously. Of course it will work. I've watched him do it countless times. I was there when he sent the recruit back too. I'm sure that if you're holding the frog, you can return to your world. There was nothing I could say. I just hoped that it worked. I've been here almost 3 weeks, and I think it is long enough. My family must be worried sick. I pictured my mother sitting beside my bedside holding my hand, while my father investigated to get answers at school. And the only thing I could control is my interaction here with these people. I doubted they could send me back, but I'm gonna hope that by some miracle that their plan works. Okay, that's it for now. Please smash that like button and subscribe. Until next time, be blessed.